Hello, everybody. Are you ready to give your love out there? Today is a wonderful day because it's a day that the Lord has made, and let's be glad. Let's be glad in it. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Love is everywhere, and today is a blessed day. And we have Harold Humphreys as our guest. Harold is an old friend of mine. We have known each other for a few years, and he's been an awesome support to me.
Well,
Harold?
I thank you, Lisette. That this last year and a half of my life I've been reborn again.
Mm-hmm.
In March of 2017, it was probably back on March 9th of 2017, I went to the hospital and I had pneumonia, and I went in a coma for 41 days. Then I spent another year in rehab. They told my family that I would probably be in rehab. First they told my family that I probably wasn't going to make it. And then after a period of time, after I got out of the coma, they told me I would have to go in rehab and learn how to walk and talk, and use my brains to get myself going again.
Yes.
The only thing that I really had to go in for myself, as my son would tell me, he says, at least you still have all your marbles.
There you go.
I had all my marbles, and it was a struggle, Lisette. It was really a struggle. I think.
But you're here. Harold is a testimony of God's love to everyone. Because no matter where you are, God is with you, and God loves you. Tell us more, Harold.
Well, when I was starting to go back in rehab again, I couldn't walk. I couldn't eat. They had a feeding tube. They told me it was 100% on a track on my neck.
Yes, from your neck. Yes.
And so they kind of gave up on me. They said that the insurance wouldn't pay for a portion of it, so they would have to wait another 30 days. But thank God I had angels.
Yes.
I had a lady that wouldn't give up on me.
Okay.
And I want to tell you. I really want to tell you about that.
Let's talk about you a little bit more. Let's give a story of the background, your background, so everybody will know where you're coming from.
Well, I've been in town for 50 years. I've been married 3 times, and those relationships were a tragic. They were a tragic.
Or you can look at me.
I'm gonna look at you. And so, I had been married to 3 different times, and they were toxic relationships.
Toxic relationships.
Yes, and so when I finally got out of my last relationship, I was married for 12 years in that relationship. There was no love, and I really didn't understand what God's love was about until I got into rehab. And rehab showed me that no matter what you do, that God will never let you down. So what happened was I had to learn how to walk again, and that was the first step. And my God, the Lord got me back on my feet again.
Awesome.
And He got me where I had the strength to get up and stand up. He got me the strength where I can. They told my family I would probably be there for 2 years. That I would probably be either on a walker or in a wheelchair the rest of my life. And thank the Lord, I don't do any of that. I'm back. I'm back to work.
Yes, you're back to work. You've got lots to do, Harold.
Lisette and I regenerated our friendship after a year and a half. And she's been wonderful, pushing me. She's been a pusher and a pusher to get me to try things that I would probably still be struggling with.
I'm a love pusher.
Yeah, a love pusher. A love pusher is that was a good one. So that's kind of where God's love is unconditional.
So before all this happened, what were you doing? Harold, by the way, is a realtor. Tell us about that.
I've been selling real estate for 27 years. I was very successful in selling real estate. My most successful years was when I was doing real estate auctions.
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of money, and I lost a lot of money. And God, if you don't give it back to God, do what you're supposed to do with it, it just goes. It goes away. I own 6 homes. That's all gone. And marriage was all gone. And I had to come back and I had to relearn what God's word really meant. And He put me through this, and I know that was for a reason.
Absolutely.
And so I'm back again, back on my feet. There's a learning curve. You know, us human beings are stubborn when it comes to trusting and hoping and on the things that we have to do. But I have my faith in God right now that He's gonna guide me and give me the knowledge that I need to have to keep life going again the way it should be through Him.
Okay, Harold. I thought you were always a man of God. So what happened to that? Aren't you a founder of the church you go to?
Well, I was going to Central Christian Church for a number of years, and I was on a team looking for land for Canyon Ridge Christian Church, and that was years ago. That was back in probably 1995, 1994, somewhere in there. It's been a while. And I was a camp counselor for children. I was a Sunday school teacher for 6 years with my wife, my ex-wife at that time, my wife at that time. I loved the Lord, but I didn't know the Lord the way I know it now. And I'm just still, you know, I'm still getting myself back together.
Yes, very good. And I know that you have been in real estate for a long time. That's how we started. Actually, you became my client with insurance.
Oh yeah, I bought an insurance policy from Lisette, and we both belonged to Toastmasters at that time.
Yes.
That's how I met you. Through an associate that was going to Toastmasters.
Yes, Harold has been a very nice friend, very great friend for that matter. And tell me about your family too.
I have a twin brother.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, he just retired as a professor at the University of Pittsburgh.
So does he look like you?
I don't know. That's what they say we do. I don't think
You're twins.
I think we're twins, but I think we don't look alike. I don't think so anyway.
I see. Yes, or like fraternal twins. That's what they call them.
We were identical when we were little. I mean, we were mirror. You couldn't tell us apart, but as we grow older, we change our looks and change our clothes. My dad and mom were married. My mom was a nurse and my dad was a preacher. And they would go on missionary trips to Mexico and deliver food and clothing. We did that a lot. My mom was just like one of these women that just took care of all the kids in the neighborhood. She was one of these. They needed somebody to take care of them. They would always come over to the house. We were a place that everybody met.
Wow, like my mom too.
Yeah, but at an early age, I lost my mom when I was 10 years old, and that was unfortunate. So my dad raised us, and I remember in high school, he says, "What are you going to do now?" I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "Well, you're going to join the Marines." And when I told him, I said, "No, Dad, I just got out of the Marines. No, I'm not going to do that." So I joined the Air Force.
Oh, Air Force.
Yeah, I was in the Air Force for 4 years. So I got
What year was that when you were at the Air Force?
1966 and 1970.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was a learning curve, and I always seemed to be landed on my feet whatever I did. I always did it well.
So you're like a cat then.
Yeah, and then my brother was stationed here in Las Vegas, so I moved. When I got out of the Air Force, I moved to Las Vegas.
I see.
And so he says, "Yeah, I got a house." And when I got to Las Vegas, it was a house, but he was renting one room out of the house, so we had to sleep in one bed. We had one bed between the two of us. But the rent was good. It was $35 a month.
Oh, wow, $35.
So,
where do you get that these days?
Yeah, so where could you find that? So we did that. He got married 6 months later, and then I paid the full $70. And then the guy that owned the house, he got married, so I moved out and got my own. By that time, I was able to get my own apartment.
And you were telling me also that you worked for JCPenney?
Oh yeah, I worked for JC. I was a manager for JCPenney's for 21 years. That was my learning experience. I kind of had what you called a poor dad, rich dad.
Really?
My dad was a preacher. He didn't probably made more than $6,000 a year. But the rich dad was my store manager. His name was Bob O'Connell, and I really take off my hat to him, because he's the one that taught me business, and he taught me how to make money, and he taught me how to be an honest person, and he taught me how to
Very nice, Harold. We are going to continue on that, and when we come to our next segment. So don't go away, everyone. We are going to be here for the second segment of Love is Everywhere. Harold here is talking about God's love in his life.
Thank you.
We'll be back. Don't go away, mi amores. A show where we bring out the best in everyone. Every week, we inspire others to show love.
John is an employee at one of the most famous firms in the city of New York, so his job is very hectic, and he realized that it is necessary for him to go and finally take a vacation. But he went on a vacation without planning out the details, and wasn't able to truly enjoy where he went because he had to think about so many things that he didn't plan for. Instead of enjoying his time away from work, he came back with more stress that he was not able to take full advantage of his vacation. But this year, a coworker suggested him to try World Ventures this time to make his vacationing more enjoyable and less stressful. They do not require you to plan anything outside of your transportation, which is also available at discounted rates. Your stay, your transport, and many meals are planned by the club. John liked the idea very much. He tries World Ventures, and his experience with the club was amazing, as he made many friends there with whom he had a great time. John recommends that everyone should try this club, as they are the best in business. See how the VIP-vacation-club.com can give you the right experience without all the hassle. Enjoy the VIP experience that only World Ventures provides.
Hi everyone, this is Maria Pureza Ruiz Leventhal. Welcome to Social Media Shows Network. We initiated Social Media Shows Network since May 2017. And in August 2017, Empowerment with Maria and Joe Live TV has born. And recently, we added 6 different shows in our network. We now have 9 different shows and 5 more on the making. What is social media shows? This is a group of key people that have the passion, initiative, commitment, and willingness to help others. We build brand for businesses. We open opportunities to others, other individuals that are willing to help one another. Social media shows is growing rapidly, and we would like to welcome you to our family.
Hello everyone, we're back. Here at the Love is Everywhere. And I am talking to Harold here. We're talking about his life and how God's just showed more love in his life.
Yes. So, my father was a preacher. There was a lot of things that we did with the church. And we were raised in the church, so we were kind of raised in a kind of a vacuum. But
What do you mean by that?
well, you belong to certain organizations, and you don't get to see the world. You didn't get to know how to get out and do things with it.
So you're confined to your church.
We were confined to a very rigid
rigid.
Yeah, he was. I think Dad was concerned about that, but that was a good thing. It wasn't a bad thing.
Yeah, so you grew up in a great structure of church.
Very structured.
Yeah.
Very structured, and we were allowed to do a lot of things that a lot of kids were allowed to do too.
Like for example.
Well, when we were never got punished often. We never got punished to do if we did make mistakes. We were able to. We were able to reconcile them, reconcile our mistakes, and do it over again.
Oh.
It gave us a lot of room, a lot of leeway to do that. So we grew up fast, and we both of us found out we could sell. So we both got paper routes, and I was making money.
So what was your first job then?
My first job was I had a paper route. I was making $42 a month. I was buying my own clothes. When I turned 16, my twin brother and I bought a car between us.
Awesome.
And so we would double date.
Oh, wow.
And I would say, you're going to drive. No, I'm going to drive.
Oh, that was a great life.
That was a great time.
time.
We had a great time. Yeah. And so that was our life. That's how we were
And
raised.
this was in the 60s?
This was in the 60s, right? This was in the late 50s, in the early 60s.
Awesome. And then what happened? The war came along.
Yeah,
Vietnam War?
Yeah, the Vietnam War. I got a 2-year degree in engineering, an associate's degree, and then after that I went into the Air Force, like I told you.
I see, yes.
Yeah, and so that degree gave me. I was working on my bachelor's degree at night while I was in the Air Force. I got moved up in rank pretty quickly.
I see, because of your bachelor's degree?
Well, because of my associate's degree and me going to school. There's most people didn't do that. They were just mostly high school graduates. And I became a crew chief on a large aircraft.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
bet that's a big thing.
Yeah,
You're a big shot now. You're a big shot.
23 years old, and I was trained correctly, and I got after the 4 years I got out of the Air Force.
I see. So you never went to Vietnam.
I never went to Vietnam. That was my goal.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't want to go to Vietnam, so that's why I joined the Air Force.
Yeah, my former husband was a Marine in Vietnam, and that was an experience I heard, and he would not even talk about it.
Yeah, and a lot of my friends went there, and they wouldn't talk about it either. I know what you're saying.
And in fact, this war was. We're not going to that. The war was. Yes. Anyway, so you had a good childhood. Tell me about your mom.
Oh, I had a wonderful mom. My mom my mom graduated from UCLA.
Oh wow.
She was a registered nurse, and she loved children. She loved children. If her cure for any ailment was humor. She could get those kids laughing, and I can remember at Christmas time these kids always, of course, were by themselves. They were very sick kids. And she would pile them all in one bed and pull them so they could all sit on Santa Claus' lap, because they were at the Christmas party, and every kid got a gift. So
very nice.
Those are the memories I had of that.
Yes. So you have a great mom then.
I had a great mom. Yeah, but I lost her when we were 10 years old.
I bet that was a big toll on you growing up.
That was a void in my life that's probably haunted me my whole life.
So would you like to talk about that, how it affected you growing up?
Well, it only affected me as my relationships with and making bad decisions, picking women. When you getting married 3 times. My twin brother, both and I have been married 3 times. He was married 3 times. But you know what? We kind of did the same thing. We kind of did it the same way.
I guess that's what twins do, huh?
Yeah.
They do the same things the same way.
Yeah. So
yes.
So God has got me back on the. Now I know what not to do. What I was doing before. I know now that the relationship with God is all biblical.
Yes.
And it tells you
biblical. Talk about that.
Well, the Bible is just a guide for life.
It's the book of life. It's the Bible.
It's a guide to you, and how to treat a woman, and and the difference between man and woman. And so I'm still studying it. I'm still embracing it. And I think what happens is that the Holy Spirit will guide you toward people, toward women. You know, not just from. We're not talking about the church. We're talking about in life.
Yes, life in general.
Life in general.
Yes. So are you saying that God's love you have felt even if you are not in the church?
Yes, God's love is so. You know, I always say that the Holy Spirit is like a vehicle. You know, and it's like a car. And if you don't have the garage door open, you can't get the car in. All right. So if you're praying, you got to make sure you have your antennas up. And knowing,
explain that, because I do not understand that very much.
Well, the Holy Spirit is God's way of talking to you. Now He may talk to you. He may talk to you differently than He talks to me. With me.
So you're saying that God will talk to you in the way that you understand.
Right. And also you become a vehicle for God, because I can tell you a great story that.
Tell me.
My daughter was probably about 5 or 6 years old, and we were getting ready to go to church one Sunday morning. And I had dated this girl 10 years before that. I dated her a few times. There was just never a relationship, but we never were mad at each other. We kind of just went our own ways in life.
Yes,
that's how that works. And so, my daughter was giving me a bad time that morning to get ready for church.
Yeah.
And,
Girls.
Just comb my hair wrong, and this doesn't fit, and I can't get my socks. Whatever. What a 5 or 6.
How old was she?
She was 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we get in the car and we go down the street, and I said, "Oh, I forgot to turn the coffee pot off." So you're talking 1984. So I turned around, went back in the house, and the phone rings. And I pick it up, and this woman, and she told me that she was going to commit suicide.
Oh, over the phone.
She told me over the phone. She said, "I'm so glad you're home. I didn't know who to call." Went around and around. I said, "Listen, let me go I'm on my way to church. Let me pick you up and we'll talk about it."
Wow.
So she told me where she lived. It was close by. I picked her up when we got to church. I took my daughter into Sunday school, and we went to church.
Wow, this is God's love at work.
So we go, and she had been trying to call her counselor all morning. She'd been seeing a counselor all.
I see.
And she couldn't get a hold of him. And you're talking long before cell phones. So we go back after church to pick up my daughter. She goes in with me to pick up Tiffany. And guess who was there? Her counselor was teaching a Sunday school class.
Oh, I see. That's why she wasn't able to get in touch with her.
So the Holy Spirit was going, she said, "I don't know why I called." She kept saying to me, "I don't know why I called you. But your phone number was in my head."
Oh,
she called me.
God's
So I was just a vehicle to get her to her counselor. And he happened to be a Christian. I mean,
yes.
And he was one of the top Christian counselors in Nevada at the time.
Oh, this is Nevada.
Yeah,
wow.
this was in Nevada.
How God works.
See how God works, and so,
yes.
And it was something that we don't want to talk about, but she was in trouble.
See, God loves everyone, and so He uses every other one to save other people.
Right.
Like, say, for example, just people who are having problems and they don't have anybody to talk to.
Right.
That's where they just do whatever's in their head.
So that's why that's so important to have prayer. I was in rehab for a year. Of course, I just told you.
And let's talk about that on our next segment, Harold.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to talk about more your rehab, and see, God's love moves in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
So, and the next segment, we are going to hear about Harold's experience in the rehab, how God saved him. Thank you. Don't go away. Mia Morris.
Are you at a crossroads in your life? Sick of your unfulfilling and stressful job? Wouldn't you rather have fun, freedom, and fulfillment in your life? World Ventures can help you experience more passion and adventure with amazing vacations at an affordable price. 5-star VIP vacations at 2-star prices with our total vacation packages. By joining the VIP Vacation Club, you can enjoy your vacation in style. You should be here.
Hello, my name is Doug Wood, owner of U3 Coaching, and I want to encourage you to tune in to Love is Everywhere every Monday at 5 p.m. And you can find that on socialmediashows.com every Monday, 5 o'clock.
And we're back here at Love is Everywhere, and we are listening to Harold give us his experience. Now we're going to hear about his experience at rehab, his experience of God's love.
Yes, so as I was telling you, it was August 9th of 2017. On the afternoon, I started running 103 temperature, and so I had called my son to take me to the VA hospital.
What's your son's name?
Christopher.
Okay, Christopher.
So Chris, I couldn't get a hold of Chris,
Oh.
so I drove myself.
Wow, you did.
I don't remember driving myself, but I drove myself. I got to the hospital. They immediately called an ambulance and took me to UMC.
I see. So you went to the VA, but they took you to UMC.
UMC, yes. So at that point, the doctor had ever asked me if I'd ever been out of country, and that's the last thing I remember saying no. And so they could not find a. They knew I had pneumonia, but they didn't know where it came from. And finally, when they realized 2 or 3 days later that it came from Europe, they found an antibody.
How did you get that? How did you get it?
Well, I don't know. I can only surmise where I got it from, so I don't know if it's true or not.
I see.
So you don't know where you get it.
Okay. So what happened?
So they put me. I went into a coma. They induced me into a coma. I was in a coma for 41 days.
41 days. Everyone.
41 days. They had told my daughter that if this doesn't work, he's probably not going to make it.
Oh wow.
But I made it for 41 days, and I had all sorts of wild dreams and wild experiences in these dreams.
Talk about that. Let's hear it.
Oh, you don't know. They were not good dreams. They were bad dreams.
We want to hear about them.
They were
anyway.
they were just terrible dreams about what hell would be like. And
hell?
Yeah, it was not a good experience. And so when I finally came to, they took me to the rehab center. And that's when I started. I weighed 205 pounds. It was all water.
205?
It was all water weight. I was way overweight. I couldn't. My body had what it calls when your body. You can't move your arms. You can't move your legs. Everything's heavy.
Heavy.
Yeah. There's a name of that. There's a name for that. But anyway, I had to in rehab. They had to reteach me. Of course, I told you I was on the track in my neck. I was on a feeding tube in my stomach. I couldn't. That's where the worst case of what could happen to you. I was going right. Everything was going right through me. And I can tell you that God put His hands on me the whole time I was there, because I had three nurses, Two of them were physical therapists, and one was a nurse that took care of me. And I was so sick
Yes.
that he could, that I didn't, you know, you're at a point in life that you just kind of, you don't give up, but you just say, Lord, I don't know what else to do. You get your,
But you are conscious now. You are,
I'm
and you're
conscious.
praying.
I'm conscious, but I'm not panicked. I'm not.
You're serene.
I'm serene, but
You're
you know,
peaceful.
I want to get out of here. My goal was to get out of here. I don't want to stay here
Why
So-
is that?
because I want to get back home.
You mentioned about the three.
The three nurses.
No, the 3:45 in the morning. What was that?
Oh yeah. The 3:30 in the morning.
3:30 in the
At
morning.
3:30 in the morning, I had this one nurse. God bless her, man. She was an angel. She was an angel. She would clean me up. I was pooping everywhere. I was throwing up everywhere. I was running temperatures. She would wipe me down and clean me up. And she would always say, "It's okay, Harold. That is okay."
Yes.
And she was such a professional about taking care of me, and you know that God had His hands in her heart to take care of me. Just that fact that she cared so much. She would come in at 3. She would come in at 2:30, and sometimes, most of the time, she worked a double shift. So she was always working until 7 o'clock in the
She's
morning.
always there for you then.
She was always there for me, and she was the one that took care of me that way. Then I had another one named Nicole that could come in at 6:30 when I was trying to get to learn myself to walk again and stand up.
Yes.
And my God, she never gave up on me till I got up to where I could sit at the end of the bed and move my legs, and then put my legs on the ground,
I see.
and then move my legs, and then get up on the walker, and stand there and do steps. And I remember the first time I just took 5 steps back and forth
Wow.
and sat down.
So you're just like
And I was
relearning.
just
to walk
relearning
again.
all over again. And she never gave up, and so
She was great at her
oh
job.
my God, this woman was unbelievable. So I was able to walk to the doorway and then walk back with the walker. And then, of course, you just progress and progress and progress.
Yes.
And then I had another one. I had another nurse that was my physical therapist. And talk about pain. Talk
Pain.
about pain because I hadn't stood up yet. I hadn't stood at that point when I was learning to stand up. They finally got me to stand up, and it scared me. Fear is the worst thing you could have when you're
Fear?
trying to rehab, because where is a safe place? The safe place is lay in bed and complain. But you know what? They had bets on me that I was not going to make it.
Really?
Yeah, there was 2 of us. They thought he was going to outbeat me, but you know what? He's still there, and I'm ready. I'm already home.
Wow. So are you saying that this is really God's word?
Yes,
that-
God is the one that
Yes.
got me. You know, once I got over the fear that I could do it, then nothing stopped me. God had His hands on me the whole time.
Yes. Yes, that's awesome. See, everyone, God is working in us, through us, helping each other. That's
Right.
why we must be loving to each other, right?
Right, and I got myself back into real estate again. I'm doing.
You're back to
I'm
work.
back to work again. They told me I would never go back to work again. They told me I'd never drive a car again. Guess what are we doing?
Yes, you
But-
drove me today.
And I drove
Or the other day.
Yeah, who drove? And we went to California.
We went to California, who drive, and then we went to church. Harold was driving.
And I drive. So I'm driving. I'm selling real estate. I'm back again.
Back in the saddle again.
That's it.
Thanks to the love of God.
That's it.
Wow, what a testimony. So what would you tell everyone out there listening to you?
I'm just telling you that if things aren't working and you have fear, I want you to read that.
You want me to read? Okay. Harold wants me to read this verse from the Bible. Matthew 11, verse 28 to 31. Peace. Where is it? Sorry.
It says here, come to me.
Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke, and you
take my yoke upon you.
Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. I love that verse.
Yes, that's a verse that I use. That's the verse that I used to keep myself going. You know what happened this morning that came up on the internet, and I go, oh my God, God is reminding me.
Yes, God is reminding you that He's there. He's always there for you.
He says, wake up, wake up.
Yes, because the Bible is the book of life, and God is our Father. He's always taking good care of us.
That's it.
Right?
You know, I'm sleeping better. You know, I'm sleeping better. I'm back to my normal weight.
Yes.
You know.
Wow, and everybody says that Harold is back from the dead.
Right, they told me I'm a miracle.
He is a walking miracle, everyone, like everyone else. So remember that God is love, and love is everywhere, and God is everywhere. Be safe, everyone. Love each other. Make it a love-filled kind of day. Mi amores. A show where we bring out the best in everyone. Every week, we inspire others to show love.
Shut up and sit down.
You have for your seventh back.
Anything about this time? You see, this that you came from out of
Shut up and sit down.
Hi, this is Maria.
Hey, and you're here with Joe.
And this is Maria and Joe Live TV.
Absolutely. Of course, you're probably going to see a recording of this later on. But we meant to do it live. We were live when we did it, correct?
Yes.
There you go. Yeah. It's good enough for me.
Yes. August 2017. Do you remember that time, Joe?
You know, that was not too long ago, but seems like a whole journey behind us.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And yes, and now, can you imagine, now it's the show foundation of social media shows.
It's pretty amazing, this little idea we had less than a year ago. It's turned into something really big, compounded, and a lot of people want to get involved in what we're doing.
Amazing! That's what
it was
we
amazing.
Want.
Yes.
I know. That's what social media shows all about. It's actually build the brand.
Building branding people.
Yes, branding people.
Right.
open opportunities,
Given open opportunities, correct.
and help others.
And helping others by outreaching to those around us. Because as we've learned over the last several months, the last several years probably, is a lot of people have ideas, they have visions,
They have skills.
they have skills, and they don't know how to share with the rest of us.
Yes. Well, they technically know how to share with us because they're with us now.
That's true. We've lately, just over the past several months, pretty much put the cream of the crop part of our network, Social Media Shows Network.
Yes.
It's pretty big because there's things we thought we knew that, well,
We
we're
can-
learning more and more all the time.
Yes, we thought we can do it all, but when we brought in, or when these people came in and joined us, we actually collaborate all together what skills they have to bring this brand, social media shows together and build a dream team.
That's true. We have our own dream team now. Like you said, it did not take long before people started stepping up. We have someone online not only to do PR for us, and she's doing a great job. We have people, experts in social media and search engine optimization and getting our marketing off the ground. And that's huge. We have people are helping us with their technical issues and making everything bigger and better than ever
You
was
look good,
before.
by the way.
You look good as always, Maria. You
Of
look good
course
as
I do.
always.
I already know that, Joe.
Well, of course you do. I bet, because I've always thought someone your age would forget those things. But you're doing pretty good for a lady like
You know that I am 30 years younger than you, right?
Okay, you keep believing that. You keep believing that.
But anyways,
Yeah.
we will continue to grow and bring in other key people to our family.
That's very true. And we're reaching out to look for any of you, any of our listeners, or any of your friends that want to join our family and share with you some of your skills and some of your ideas to help us all grow and become better in the long run.
Yes, and you have room to our family. We have different 5 categories that you can actually fit into our social media shows.
So the social media shows, like she said, we have at least 5 categories and probably we'll bring more later on. We always have room for those who are eager and have a passion that really want to do something with their lives, something different.
Yes, passion and helping others, like the Saved by Grace.
Saved by Grace, that's a huge show we're just putting on the air right now, helping a lot of us save our souls and feed our souls. We're always feeding our brains and trying to feed our bodies properly, but it's equally important, and probably even more important, to feed what's really important inside.
Yes, and that's all about social media shows.
It's on the social media shows.
It's
yes.
about helping and
Helping and giving opportunities and outreaching and branding. Real important that we learn how to brand ourselves. And regardless, even if you have your own business or maybe you have your own journal or newsletter, let us help you promote you even better. You can never have enough branding or promoting yourself. And as we're promoting you, we're going to promote others and we all promote each other. We have a pretty good thing going on.
yes, definitely, Joe. Well, viewers, supporters, please continue to support our group, Social Media Shows.
All right, join the social media shows family, and we really look forward to working with you. We have a lot of fun doing what we're doing, and we're always eager to learn new skills ourselves.
Yes.
All right, this is Joe
And this is Maria.
with the Maria and Joe
Joe Live
Live
TV.
Television.
And we're back here with last segment for a show, and I have Lance here again.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
I'm here. How are you? Thank you for having me back.
Yes, and Lance has plans he would like to share with everyone.
I do have some plans. Well, as you know, we've been talking about the Homeless Living Initiative in the Philippines. It's getting closer and closer. It's almost July. More things are falling into place. We have some new people that are involved on the project.
I would like to meet them.
I bet you would. So one of the things we're looking at now is throughout the country, not just in Manila, but different places, also perhaps maybe stuff with an orphanage, but it's becoming more clear that we're working with children. So one of the biggest things about these communities, because we were doing a little bit of digging, and human trafficking obviously is a huge thing in this city too. Most people are unaware of those numbers. They've been kind of downplaying them a bit because of tourism. This actually happens in a lot of different places where they downplay the actual problem, so it kind of affects it. I mean, that was one of the things that was going on in Hawaii. They were downplaying the disaster because they didn't want to scare tourists away. I mean, that's kind of selfish, don't you think? You have a volcano that hasn't stopped erupting. It's still going. Oh, it's still going. That's creating an issue. But, you know, in a place like, let's say, with the Philippines, there's issues. A lot of times the government, and I can't speak for the current one, but they tend to kind of push the stuff under the carpet. I can tell you about this city. The numbers are played down. Homelessness and human trafficking. Why? Because if you start hearing that there's a huge problem with human trafficking of children, you're less likely to come here. You're starting to question, well, what's happening, where are these kids coming from? The legalization of vice, sin in this city has kind of, that's where it's going. So you have a lot of people, where people always think that they choose that life of, you know, stripping or brothel. That's not the case. A lot of times what happens is that's how people are getting pushed into it.
I see. So it is not the choice now. It's just being pushed into it.
Yes, and this is big another.
Where is the love there? Where is the love there now, Lance?
The love has to come from the community to start getting involved. See, that's the thing, is that when you recognize there's a problem, then we can do something. But you have to ask yourself, well, why wouldn't people know the problem's so big? Well, they're being kept distracted. You know, pretty lights, sports teams, stuff like this, and you no longer see what's going on. I mean, think about this. You watch a news story, and you see Puerto Rico, for instance, has a huge storm, right? Kills a lot of people, destroys the housing. You stop hearing about the story. So my question is this: why mentally do you think everything's okay? Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yes.
That's distraction. So what ends up happening is we'll hear something, our attention spans have become so short that when we see something else, we immediately
discount the other one.
You're misdirected. So anytime that you hear of a story, they'll be like, human trafficking's awful. Go Golden Knights. And then everyone's back into something else. That's how it works. Because again, you see how that little shift happens?
Yes.
And so people have to stay focused and be aware of distractions of why they're being shown.
So everyone, love has to be prominent.
Yes, has to be first. Unconditional.
Has to be unconditional, and we must take care of ourselves there. Communities should come together and help and bring all these issues to the surface so we can do something about it. Right?
Well, that's the good point, is that we have to work together.
Yes.
We've got to be involved, and you know, oftentimes it was when I was having a conversation, a person was doing these amazing things to help people, but he kept on getting taken advantage of, and he was questioning, well, maybe I shouldn't help anymore. And I go, see, that's what we're taught, is that if someone wrongs you, cut them off. But that's not love. Love is unconditional, which is, you know, what Jesus did. You're at your worst, I'm going to die for you. And when you understand that, you're like, it's your intent, not a person's response.
That's right.
If you're looking to do something because you want something back, that's not love.
That's not love. That's just...
That's a conditional relationship.
Conditional, and that is not going to end up good.
Well,
so if you love, you must love unconditionally and just do it. You know? That's how I am these days. I just do good things to people without expecting anything, because that's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. And besides, I have to live what I preach, right? Love is everywhere.
We are supposed to.
And, you know, love it's foreign to some people because they never experienced it, or they may have some love in their heart, but if it's not reciprocated from the society.
Well, look at relationships. You know, a perfect thing is that when people are dating, there's all this, like, they're like, great, and then all of a sudden marriage comes. Why does that die? Because they start putting stipulations on each other, saying, now you have to do this. why does that relationship alter, right?
I
There's like a
know.
control mechanism. I was talking to a brilliant pastor today, and he's been married for 20-something years, and he goes, you know what makes it great is I still view my wife like we're dating.
Oh, that's
So it doesn't.
fun.
So there's love. There's love. It's not something where it's like
it's
oh,
always
mar-
fresh.
Yes, but it's
Yeah.
not something where it gets old and there's this comfort, and it's sad because you can see it in people. You can
Right.
see like this disconnect when you you go,
Uh-huh.
what's happened? People have taken stuff for granted.
Yeah.
Something has changed. So love is a constant. It's like this never-ending water. And so what happens is when you constantly pour that in, if you're giving love to someone and you're not trying to control them, and we even do that in relationships. We look at this other stuff like governments. We're like, they're controlling us. Like, oh, well, what are you doing with your significant other?
Yes. So, you know what? The government is like married to the people, and the government should be taking care of the people, and vice versa, right?
Well,
But
I
then again,
suppose I
some-
don't know if it's marriage. It's
it's a
dysfunctional relationships more like it.
dysfunctional, yes. So we have to be aware of how we are relating to other people, how we are sharing the love, because love is going to be the one that prevails. Love is the number one thing. Love is the highest vibration. If you want to feel good about yourself, you want to feel love unconditionally.
I think we just have to redefine how we've been doing it. You know, if we take a flawed definition or our interpretation of love and we keep on doing the same thing and we're blaming everyone else and we're not looking at
Yes.
ourselves, that's the problem. We have to start saying, well, wait a minute, maybe how I'm looking at something
Yes,
is dysfunctional, and then I can change, and then you can start to help.
that's
You
right.
have clarity at that
Because
point.
you cannot change other people, you can change yourself, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, we have to look inward first and then examine ourselves if we are doing the right thing. And then if we're not, then maybe we should change something. And again, caring about other people, caring about the community, that is our main goal in this life, because we are all connected. Whether you like it or not, we are connected.
Yeah.
And we are brothers and sisters. We came from this one family. And people think because we have different colors, we're not the same family, but we are.
Well, people have a hard time. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's been kind of not really told the truth. And so when we look at different things of how we can work together and how we can offer solutions, I mean, think about it. If the one thing that's being propagated is division, you have to wonder, why are they trying to divide so much? Because
Yeah.
when people unify, stuff becomes effective. You can get
Yes.
stuff done. And so they're telling you one thing, but they're promoting something else.
That's right.
And so too often we start pointing fingers at everyone, and you should be pointing one at yourself.
Yeah.
Because we all have to be accountable for stuff that's happened. And once we can become accountable, we become humble. And we can
Right.
say, I was part of the problem, now I can offer a solution. But too
Right.
often we want to blame someone else. And it's like, well, as long as you're blaming someone else.
But look at when you're blaming someone, three of your fingers are pointing at yourself.
I know, people forget these things. But I mean, that's how we can make it. You know, the thing is that insanity would be defined as doing the same thing over and over and over
That's
again.
right.
And expecting a different result, not to be confused with practice. And that's the problem, is that we are doing the same thing over and over, and rather than actually looking and self-reflecting, we're just too
Right.
busy blaming someone new.
That's right. We must take responsibility for things. We must take responsibility for ourselves. If something's happening to us, it's up to us to change it. Because nobody else is going to be responsible for myself but myself. And nobody else is going to be blamed for my happiness anymore, because I am responsible for myself. Not like before, I used to blame someone else for me being miserable. But hey, that was my fault for being miserable. Now,
And did that make you happy?
no, it made me more miserable. So now that my eyes are opened, I take responsibility, and now I'm spreading the love. Love is everywhere.
Yeah, we get that joy from the Lord, and I think too often what ends up happening, I don't know what
Yes.
that says, what the joy of the Lord actually does is that it's never ending.
Yes.
And when you're getting from an endless supply, you're no longer looking for a person to complete you. See, too
Yes.
often, not even a person, we're looking at stuff to try to fill that void.
That's right.
But that's not what fills the void. Once we
No.
realize that, we go, that makes sense.
Yes. So everyone, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for listening, and practice love as much as you can, because ever since I started practicing unconditional love, I have this unending joy, like Lance was talking about. Joy that comes from inside, that comes from above. God is love. Love is everywhere. Until next time, mi amores, make it a love-filled kind of day.
God bless.
God bless. Love you all.